And welcome back for the final time this night as Kanga do battle with Antic, and to put it lightly, game one was very one-sided, and that is to be expected when it is this complete battle on opposite ends of the table. I think for Antic, the storyline going into this one, Telly, was all about making sure that you bounce back, it's clean, it's quick, it's a case of finding success yet again. As for Kanga, they tried to reinvent the wheel, they've stuck with some consistent picks for them, but just didn't have enough to try and truly threaten Antic.
Yeah, and I think it's hard for Kanga to really work on what they were talking about, making it to that mid-game and having these, consistent performances where they don't feel like they're so out of water, because, once again, we keep mentioning, their early games are not, so bad. They keep doing well, individually in their 1v1s in most of their games, but just really unable to get to the mid-game and solidify any of the leads they have from, some lanes. So, would like to see them having those, cleaner performances in the early game, as we said. 3 tanks, 2 carries, Skimmy. It's kind of like you start off the split and you work back. You pick no tanks. We see those 5 range comps and you're like, all right, we need more CC. Next week, another tank. Next week, another tank. And all of a sudden, we're in playoffs. 3 tanks, 2 carries. You can't lose.
Well, that's it, right? Life is a simulation. We're just running it on repeat, figuring out the most optimal way to try and play this game. And for Antic, it's a case of removing anything that could be considered cheesy, that could really upset the balance of this series and make sure that they can guarantee a nice, quick, convincing 2-0. As for Kanga, we just want to see some extra engage. Make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And try and allow yourself to actually find a mid-game where you are giving Antic some good pressure points to work with. Either way, though, sides are flipped around. Antic opting for first pick this time around. And in terms of the bans, look, things will change up big time for Kanga now they're on red.
Yeah, and with the Rumble being removed, I think that kind of delays the dynamic that Antic wouldn't go for. It's much harder to play the AD mid jungle when you don't have that super solo AP threat in the top side of the map. I think that, Kai'Sa sort of acts like this solo AP champ, but not necessarily. Very hard to, spread out a lot of your damage. You're not an AoE champ, you're a single target focused champ, and we already see the Zeri being locked in for Ray, so, might be a different look for Antic. Could be, in case you're going back to the Wei and Ahri and just playing a much more stable style this time.
So it could be the case, right? And make sure that, we've got a very mobile champion that can definitely 1v9 if given the tools. But the response from Kanga is going to be that we want the Varus very early on, revealing that it's going to be partnered with the Renata. It may certainly be a case of, lethality is strong, but we really want to have some on-hit power.
Now, this is interesting because, on paper, Renata really good into the engaged champs like Leona, like Nautilus, but picking it blind is just, not really it, Skimmy, because you are so one-dimensional. You want these champs to dive into, and you have no answer to stuff like Blitzcrank or like the other enchanters like the Soraka or the Sona. The champs want to scale against you. So really nice to see Draku adapting to what's happening in the draft and just locking the Blitzcrank, and that's a very hard matchup in the bot lane for Kanga.
Very, very difficult, and I'm excited because we joke about it with Draku when we have interviews with him. He himself, right, last split when he played it for Antic, didn't hit too many of those hooks. Felt a little bit tilted in the post-game mention. Look, I'm actually going to self-ban myself from ever playing this champion again. So maybe he's found that, in this series, I can get away with it. Let's just, get rid of that kind of that phobia, that fear, lock it down once again, and back to winning ways. How do they want to try and combine this, though? We know that Woodon is certainly a very fantastic Aatrox, and after what we saw happen last night from Prey, why not? Absolutely lock that one in.
Yeah, and I think this is probably what you really want to do as a player. When you have one of those performances where you're really shaking your head coming out of the game, go back to your trusted, most comfortable champion. It's not the Riven this time, but it is the Aatrox. Very up there in terms of Woodon priority, and even though not necessarily the best pick to to pick on 3 on the red side, it's good into these melee champs like the Blitzcrank, like the Viego. So it's angle for him to play his champion to feel a bit more comfortable this game.
Certainly is. You can see Sovereign very very
and
keen to try and showcase. That's exactly it, right? He's just like, okay, guys, look at the camera, break that 4th wall and be like, guys, they're banning me out again. Just let me have some fun. You've bullied me enough here in game 1. But I'm sure for Antic, they don't really care. They just want all 3 points. They really want to make sure they're still in contention for that top 4 position, which shouldn't really be in any doubt. But either way, it's worth guaranteeing that one. Kanga, though, will ban away the Camille, and they'll deny the Cassante too.
Yeah, and, Skimmy, I went to have a sip of my tea, and this is the one of the downsides having glasses. Absolutely flashbanged myself with Steam, so unfortunate, but didn't miss out too much in draft. Another mid lane ban going towards Sovereign, getting a little LeBlanc this time. So, this is nice for Incursio if he does want to blind pick an assassin to fit into his comp that is good into the enemy team. Doesn't necessarily worry about his individual matchup in the mid lane because a lot of the champs left on the board aren't going to punish him that hard.
Wow, they have just doubled down on this. They said, you know what? Screw your pleas for tanks. More aggression, more dive, more pressure. Katarina! It's happened. We were just warming up. We were warming up in game 1. He gave us a teaser. Said, this is a great angle. This could be the perfect angle for Katarina. Game 2.
Oceania saves Skimmy. We finally have the Incursio Katarina in chat. Everyone, call everyone up on Discord, guys. Get everyone in. Tune in. We got to finally watch him play Katarina in competitive. You know, I assume we'll have Pike somewhere around be like, all right, guys, you know, I've looked up the stats and this was the last time Katarina was played competitive. Yeah. I'm not even sure. You know, the only time I can ever think about Katarina being a competitive champion is like throwback to Showmaker, trying to pull this one out a very, very long time ago. But I'm curious when the last time Katarina was played. And, you know, I know Incursio a lot from solo queue. There's 2 champs he always bans when he plays a champion. One is LeBlanc and the other is Lissandra. So this is a very, you know, difficult matchup to navigate in these team fights because there's so much CC coming out of the one champion. But in the individual 1v1 in lane, not too bad of a matchup.
Well, all I'm going to say is if we go back to archetypes, I see 3 champions with lightning. Kennen, Blitzcrank, as well as Zeri. And given the weather we've had so far in Australia, be it so cold and so gloomy, I think they may have just outplayed them. Once again, we had Nocturne turn the lights off, cut the power, not allow us to cast the game. This time, they want to try and surge it back in.
True, and you know, I'm having some storms today as well, Skivvy, so this could be a prelude to what we're going to see today in this game. Who has the most powerful, you know, like lightning affix? Is it going to be the Blitzcrank, the Kennen, or the Zeri? Can't wait to see. But, you know, looking across at the other side of Kanga, I think they have drafted a much better, more stable comp. It's obviously like versus Katarina in competitive. It's, you know, they have a lot more avenues to be able to play around these team fights. But there is a lot of threats coming out of the Antic roster that Kanga needs to be, you know, responsible for. They need to make sure that they are dealing with TP flanks. They need to make sure these roams of Incursio are being tracked. And if they do want to skirmish, they always need to make sure that Refu and Sovereign are together to enable each other to do the best they can.
Well, let's talk about sort of one of the points you raised earlier in the segment, right, where it was lane for lane, Kanga do fare well. And I think to your point, right, Lissandra into Katarina, the Kha'Zix into Viego, the Aatrox to a degree as well, they all seem to be quite fair handshakes. But when it comes to the full 5v5, do you think it works well enough to threaten what Antic put together?
I would say, like, on paper, the 5v5 does favor Kanga. You know, their champs just make more sense when they participate together in these comps. But, you know, we have Viego, we have Katarina on the same team. If the reset comes out for Katarina, the fight is over. If the reset comes out for Viego with the soul possession, the fight is over. You know, there's a lot of tools for Antic to be able to blow these team fights out of proportion. And I think that, you know, experienced players like Antic know how to make those scenarios come to fruition.
That's the one, Tally. That is the one. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're loading ourselves in for the second time tonight. This is what you've all been waiting for. We've seen all these crazy champions, and finally, graced by the presence of a Katarina, and graced by a level 1 first blood foreigner. That's not your side of the jungle, buddy.
Yeah, and this is really good scouting by Kanga. You know, we always talk about player tendencies and what they tend to do a lot. I think we see this happen a lot. You know, we see mid laners or junglers walk up to try and get a ward on the chickens early on in the game. So it's just a nice stack by Kanga to punish Foreigner overextending in the early game.
Let's see then. Does that actually change much? Because I'd imagine it certainly wouldn't. Just a small moral victory, but certainly for Sovereign to start up with a extra purchase is even better if you're looking to try and lock down this Katarina. Yeah,
very unfortunate that Incursio, in his debut Katarina game, has to verse 3 potions and Darkseal Doran's Ring, Comet Lissandra level 1. Doesn't have a lot of sustain by himself, you know, has access to the Doran's Blade, which means he wants to trade aggressively. He wants to finally get to that, you know, level 2 point where he can use the dagger and, you know, the Shunpo to be able to trade aggressively onto the Lissandra. But he doesn't really care about losing push in the early game because as long as he's eating the CS and rotating to these skirmishes, he will be able to impact the game.
And that's what we saw be such a prominent feature of his assassin gameplay on the Zed, right? Very keen to lean towards these side lanes and say, look, I've had a moment to shine, and I am going to execute. And given what you've mentioned already about this 1v1, I'm sure it's going to be a similar situation this time around, right? Link up, make sure that you can find success, and there's going to be all the CC you need, be it a Kennen in top lane or a Blitzcrank bot.
Yeah, and I think Incursio, you know, running the Conqueror just goes to show how much experience he has in the champ. You know, when thinking about Katarina, we're very used to seeing the Electrocute, which really abuses those short trades. But, you know, one of Lissandra's biggest weaknesses is that she has pretty long cooldowns, and being able to extend the trades, especially with Katarina, who has auto resets, you know, use that for the Conqueror, stacking that up early game. Going to be able to get level 3 first because the wave crashed so early means he's going to be able to play aggressively onto Sovereign if he wants, as this level 3 dings.
There it is then. We're going to get a chance to see as the camera stays firmly locked in place around this mid lane. This certainly is the one to watch. I suppose also worth mentioning then, in terms of the top lane, is it as simple as saying that, you know, range mismatch, the Kennen should have an easy time?
Pretty comfortable scaling as we do see the disconnect happening, but hopefully nothing too bad happens. We see Gavin under the enemy bot turret. So, you know, that is quite unfortunate. Hey, the tools do exist, Simi. If it is, you know, such an impactful moment, the tools do exist, so the options are there. But back to your point about the top lane, it's definitely Kennen favored. You know, you always give it the range versus melee matchup. You always give the favor to the range just because you do have the ability to push the wave, more access to the creeps. But as the melee champ in Aatrox, he does have the comet. So if he's landing those, you know, sweet spots as he jumps forward to harass with his Q, the damage can add up. And, you know, being the melee champ, you do have more sustain, better, you know, health regen with the Doran's shield. You're going to be able to sustain up, get to those Merc treads, and just have a much better time in the 1v1.
And actually be able to try and, contest with them. And I'm also curious on a second question, you know, do you feel like Kennen is a slept-on champ? Because it feels like in OS especially, whilst our macro certainly isn't the most elegant, we do love a good little scrap, right? And whilst the AP options, you know, it's either rumble or forget about it. Like, you know, does Kennen come into the conversation, or is it too much of a, you know, AP junglers are supreme, why grief it by picking it there?
I think that AP junglers aren't supreme, Skimmy. I think that AD carry mid laners are supreme. And, you know, if you have other roles you can play AP champs in, it's always just going to be better for your comp, you know. I would really like to start seeing, you know, the AP carries coming out in bot lane as well. I think that, you know, seeing the Ziggs, Syndra, you know, even the Seraphines could be very good for these comps going forward. But, you know, to your point in top lane, Kennen is a very slept-on champion. Doesn't really have many bad matchups. Can be that champ who functions really well as a solid AP threat. So much AoE, can build, you know, multiple items to, you know, if it's wants to go for the heal cut, to be able to spread it all over the enemy members. Just many options to have on your team, and I think that is another response for the Rumble. We talk about, you know, Shern mentioning he has so many tools in his toolbox, but I think that these teams can come up with more places to play AP champs, you know, not so much have to be in the jungle.
Yeah, I suppose it leads itself into the beauty of those BO5 series later on into the playoffs, right, where you can truly showcase that diversity. It doesn't have to necessarily be about, oh yeah, look guys, I've locked in 3 champions on blue side, where are they going to go? They're going to all be flex, but more so, hey, like, you know, you've shown proficiency in this lane. Let's, you know, give you a few extra tools. It doesn't have to be a case of your only carry you can play Cassante, Rumble, or Camille. Like, it's just those 3 options to go through. Oh, wait, you want a counter pick? Sure, you can have your Twisted Fate game. There you go. You've had your fun back onto tank duty. So I think it's always exciting. Obviously, we know that Tapoon was a very prominent Kennen player, which is why I sort of bring it up, because I always say a team that is so good at team fighting, which we know that Antic are, surely you're more so wanting to lean towards these tools that allow you to those fantastic flanking TP tools. Yeah,
and now that you mentioned Tapoon, you brought up a champion that I think is quite slept on right now. We've seen it popped up overseas. I think that Na, with the recent buffs, is a really strong champion, and I think that is a champ who functions really well in OS, you know, being that ranged hyper carry, but also that champ who can jump in and just completely blow up a fight if he really wants to. And I think that is a champ that could function really well in OS if people want to start playing that one again. You know, we have seen it pop up overseas, played by Zeus, and I think that it is a really good champion. But, you know, looking back at what you mentioned with the solo AP carry, I just think it's a recipe, Skimmy, you know, with the 2 carries and triple frontline, but it doesn't matter where it goes. You know, you can be flexible in draft. You can choose, do we want to put our AP carry in the mid, bot, or top? It's really, you know, up to what is best, what is most comfortable for the players that we have on our roster, and the best, you know, recipe you could cook up pretty much.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Na point, I think the last person that would have played it would have been Zoranus, so it would instantly slot into the team here for Antic if they were to go that direction. I guess, yeah, it's always an interesting consideration, right? Obviously, we go for the patch cycles. They look to try and push a different champion or a different cycle of items that make certain champions just feel a little bit better, regardless if they do get the patch change or not. But it's always a curious case as to who deserves to have the keys to try and succeed, right? I mean, we have I certainly have seen in the past, you know, Raze lean towards champions like this, because we've had many variations of that one as well, right? We've had like a Yasuo bot lane, we've had Karthus bot lane. Even like Senna Seraphine, well, we have had Senna Seraphine, we've had Sona Seraphine. It's like the double heals, double encore ultimates. So there's certainly some, you know, craziness to come. But I always feel like we lean this way towards the playoffs, where that ability to try and tilt you in that small segment of time could be too much to try and deal with.
Yeah, and I think that we have, you know, moved away from traditional team comps. You think back in the past, you'd be like, oh, we have to be careful about a global team comp. You know, if they draft like Shen, Nocturne, Galio, Senna, there's a lot of pressure on the map. You know, I think that drafts a lot more focus on, okay, we need stable scaling, we need a carry, a tank, you know, an AP threat, and then that is your comp now. You don't really think about, okay, let's play a reset comp, let's play a engage comp, let's play a poke comp. It's not really that so much anymore. It's just a lot of following the same recipe and just filling that with champs that work for you.
You know what my favorite comp was, actually, when you were on the Chiefs, is when you guys drafted Gangplank, Lissandra, as well as Nocturne. It was just like a case of, we will just win everything. You know, you just hit the global, or you hit the ultimate, and literally the entire map is just gone in a heartbeat. It's interesting to see how things change over the years as to what we do eventually settle on as the go-to meta. But unfortunately, guys, it's not been our day, quite honestly. Both series have had some pretty unfortunate events in terms of major delays. Looks like this one is taking a little bit longer. And I know you absolutely love hearing me and Tally waffle on this LCO podcast, but we'll give you a second to breathe. Catch a break, maybe grab a drink, grab some snacks, and we'll see you right after this.
Maybe I had enough, don't tell me why. All the girls in the club, no trashing, just dancing. We just living it up, we go all night. I can sense the tension of the room and cut it. Running miles inside my head, I give you a two-step and now we running. Call me when you get a high. Don't wanna be alone tonight. Call me when you get a high. I'll give you one, two steps and we running. Turning up all the lights for you and I. It's warm and it feels alive when you smile. It's a sign. All we have is this tonight, and I don't want anybody else. Hold me and touch my body, yeah. And now we running. Call me when you get a high. Don't wanna be alone tonight. Call me when you get a high. I'll give you one, two steps and we running.
Here's the reason that Kevy's after becomes the Varus. Falls down on the stopwatch, it's carnage! Only triple happening here is for Phyto. Oh, it's do or die!
Yes, we are back. It is me again. We should make this maybe not the whole situation, but me coming back could be a good thing too. I'm loving this right now. I'm having an absolute blast. But you know what? I've got some awesome statistics that I need you guys to now guess, because Tal, you gave me the idea, you mentioned it, I want to hit you with it, because there's two champions right meow that I know you're both like, what could it actually be about? Let's start with Katarina. Let's start off with Incursio's Katarina. Now, maybe it's not so much a question, When was it last played?
In
I
competitive.
guess that is a question. When was it
in
last played?
LCO?
No, I'm going to say just in general. Worldwide,
Oh.
when was it last played?
Oh. I feel like 2021 for like Incursio, was it first year? I feel like it was first because he's played LCO before, but I don't know globally.
Three years ago.
3 years ago. Well, funnily enough, it was actually played. Well, okay, are we going full Pro League or are we including everything? That's where I was trying to debate a little bit. All right,
gets weird.
proper Pro League then. I've got that stat though. Proper Pro League, yes, it was actually Incursio in the first year of the LCO. And he lost both games that he played on it.
Doesn't matter,
So he
mate.
didn't have a great time, but he played it. But no, the last time it was properly played was 5 games last year in some amateur, in some tier 2s.
Okay.
Which is quite interesting. Now, next one, Lissandra is another champion we haven't all seen that much of. When was Lissandra last played? And if you can guess what region, again, guess what region? I'll give you double points.
Who would play?
Lissandra's been out of the meta since I played, I believe. So that was like 2022.
Yeah.
You know, what if it was I the last person to play Lissandra?
No.
All right.
Okay, it's been played more recently. I want to say something crazy like LPL or like LPL's like Division 2, like their challenger scene, like something super crazy.
I'm gonna go LCK Challenger League, and I want to say this year.
Wrong. Both wrong. It was actually in the TCL, so it's the EMEA. It was played last year, 5 games, had a 60% win rate, but one of those games was in support role, which we have seen quite a bit in solo queue, which is quite curious, right? But the other ones, it did not have a good time. It was just getting absolutely smashed. But no, those are my fun facts. I didn't have time to go get any more. But look, we got some interesting picks. I think we could talk a bit about the game regardless. Like, the Blitz is back. Like,
yeah.
There's some big things like Kha'Zix as well for Refury. Like, but we do have from the fans as well, which is we're going to see your build. We want to see what you've been playing with. Don't even worry about the game. We're coming back to that soon. Share us your gaming setup. Let's see what these builds are, and we're going to rate them. I'm going to give them the full rundown. So, okay.
Ooh. Now, this is clean. This is clean.
Wait, this is their second time.
Triple monitor setup,
FZ
clean
World.
cable management, got the headset. I have the exact same headset thing on my desk right now. So the magnetic stand. We have, we got lots of stuff on
I
the desk.
see deodorant on the desk. Gamer.
It smells nice. Got the Red Bull ready to game. He's got multiple mice on the desk. Okay,
Yeah.
that is interesting. Multiple keyboards, multiple setups, and we have
Magic
multiple
the Gathering
PCs.
cards?
What is he not ready for?
Wait, we got dual PCs. Are we playing on one computer and then like streaming to the second, or like playing on one, editing on the second? Like, this is a clean setup.
Have you ever done that before? It's actually the cleanest setup ever. If you have two towers, you stream from one and you game on the other, and you get like maximum power. And you just merge them, and it's the best thing ever. I had it for a short time, then my other PC blew up because it's like I can't run two at the same time, and that was a very sad day. But still, what are we rating this? We'll start with Tally. We'll work our way down.
I can't see any flaws with the setup, honestly, because the cable management has been dealt with.
It's got the foot pad as well, like ergonomics.
And like a nice, decent chair, good desk. I gotta give this, I gotta give this a 9.5. I think it's hard to give it 10 because something has to stand out to me that's just amazing.
Yeah. It looks like it's a standing desk as well. So yeah, I want to say like a solid 9.5 is actually a fair call, I reckon.
All right, I'm gonna go with a 9.3, and I'm gonna take away the 7.7 points. For one, I'm not a huge fan of the carpet. I think we could do better.
Okay.
But then also, in a more important note, you've got a lot of stuff on the table, but what's in the glass cabinet? There is nothing in there. Fill it up with some cool like figurines or something. Let's get something in there. Get some color going. That's why you get 9.3 from me. I'm being a bit snooby about that. That's okay. Let's have a look at the next one and see what we've got, because we do have one more. Okay.
Whoa.
Hamid.
This is a gaming setup. This is like me back in my university days. This is live.
I know, based on the setup, based on the headset and the chair, this is a high elo player. But we are hovering in the client. If we can see that, I think that's TFT being hovered. This could be a This could be a TFT play. Your ballpark.
Ooh.
Do you have the
PS4
screen
monitor
sharing
as well? Look at that.
Yeah.
They're a gamer.
Ooh, this could be.
I do love the headset though. It even says, "Don't mind the headset." I mind it.
I'm minding it.
Did you hear anything through it?
You know, I'm not a
That's
fan
hanging
of
on.
the ergonomics when it comes to, you know, if you want to play the PlayStation, you are looking down, which is going to affect your posture and, you know,
Yeah.
overall impact you in the long run. Not a big fan of it, so we're going to lose points there. But overall, the setup, have everything you need. You know, we get to see, I think there's a light in the background as well, so pretty comfy. Probably upgrade the chair, and I think it'd be a decent setup.
It's got a green screen there too. If you actually look very carefully, green screen's in there, so you don't have to worry. So that's that's an extra point for me if you have a green screen. I'm a big
and
fan
the
of that.
chair is better than Zoranus's. So, I mean, quite honestly, that's probably another 0.5 points right there.
Could be a pro player.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we'll start with you, Skibby, and then we'll go to me, and we'll finish with Tally.
Look, from a nostalgic standpoint, like I feel like this is like a university setup. You either like boarding on the school grounds or like your first like uni flat. That bumps it up just from a nostalgia element. I'm gonna give it a solid 6.5.
6.5? All right, I'm going to give it a solid, like, 7.5, because that graduation teddy tells me that this person's a learned individual,
Ooh,
and I
true.
value education. I think that's a good thing. Like, with education, you can get a better chair. You can get more stuff. I think that's phenomenal. So I'm going to give that a 7.5. But, Tally, round us out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, you know, in between for me. I'm going to go for a 7. You got everything that you
7.
need, but it's not, you know, setting you up for success, you know. Got to work on the ergonomics, got to work on the posture. But I love seeing these, though. I want to see more people sending these. I don't care how bad it looks. You know, it's a safe space. Won't flame you too much. But I want to do some more ratings.
We need more ratings, 100%. We got more. But also, what I want to actually point out, though, Skimmy, is did you notice that Tally sat on the fence once again with his
course,
answer? He's
of
like,
course.
oh, I'm just going to sit in the middle of Pike.
It's just
Give
a
you
cop-out
bullets."
answers, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to be too crazy. What did he tell us as we're going into the segment? I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to say everything.
I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I don't
I
want
was
to be
honest.
too offending, guys.
Oh, friends, just making friends.
Okay, look. It is what
Lock
it is,
in,
mate.
guys. Come
It is
on.
what it is.
It's fine.
Production are like, get him off. Get him out of here.
Look,
That's
we
what
still
life
love
like
you,
on the
Sat. We
LCO,
love
guys.
you. That's okay. Well, look, that was good. Yes, definitely send through more from the fans. We want to see all your setups. You know what? We might have taken some sneaky photos in the break. Yeah, he's milling. I'm going to send mine through right when we go back into this game, but I'm pretty keen. Now, let's talk about the game.
Okay.
While we're here, let's have a chat. What's the big pick that you guys have seen in this game that you're excited for? I'm going to say the Blitzcrank for me.
Katarina.
Look, it's very hard to look past the Katarina. I did mention a shout out to the Blitzcrank because I think for Draku this is like a personal win. Obviously, it works really well in this draft, but yeah, I think everyone's looking towards this Katarina and hoping, can he actually get that win? So next time Pike does a champion stat check-in, it's like there's a W there, not an L.
That's right. Well, that's why I'm not excited for the Katarina, because so far it's feeling very lackluster. And I was like, look, the Blitzcrank, though, like, you could do stuff with that. Blitzcrank Zeri, that's a lot of electricity. The sparks are flying.
Yeah.
I'm pretty keen for it. We'll have to see what's going to happen with it, though. But again, Cannon as well. Damn. Are there any more electric-based?
So I think what's happened here, Pike, is
That is
in the land of technology, you know, you have these like little power adapters, right? And some of them come with surge protectors. Tally talked about the Storm. Old mate doesn't have the setup. He didn't want to send it in. He didn't want to send Tally a photo. Didn't want to show him the cable management. And his computer's just gone. Boom. It's gone. It's out of here.
Do you guys have a Surge Protector board?
Of course, mate. I can't be preaching and be fake.
Yeah.
Of course.
I have no idea.
Quick
I
double
don't
check.
know.
Yeah, I'm safe. Like,
Yeah, like,
You'll
I had
find
to
out.
check.
You'll find out one day.
Nah, man, my cable management is so cooked. I don't know what cables are coming and going. Genuinely can't tell you. Like,
you do not want to look at ours then. I mean, we're probably all really bad for it. Let's be honest.
something's gone wrong down there. That's terrifying. There's
right, we can't
there's
see
the
it.
attempts of cable management from when me and my partner did it, and we had like the zip ties and everything too, and I can see zip ties on the ground.
Oh.
Is the worst part. They're not attached to cables. They're on the ground. So something's gone amiss. Something's gone awry. And that's fine. But obviously, there's people out there with better setups than mine. Please send it through. We want to see everything. But no, at the same time, again, like this is a very interesting game. Like if you had to put a prediction right now on who's probably going to win the game, let's just say take away the teams. Let's put it purely based on champions.
Oh, that would be the red side for sure. Like we have Lysandra versus Katarina in the mid lane. I think that is a matchup that can really decide the outcome of the game. And I think that it denies one champ the ability to really snowball. Coming into mid game, but Incursio is the Katarina man, and he's going to find a way to be able to get into this game and snowball. Depends what build he wants to go. Is he going to go for the 80 Katarina? Is he going to go for AP? Have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. But also, Skimmy, what do you think?
Nameplates off. Look, I'm a sucker for crazy champions. I'm just going to go towards Antic. I just love it. I just love Blitzcrank. I think it was one of my first champions that I learned. I think very early on, Season 1 or Season 2, somehow, some way, I played a normal game. I ended up in a game against Ejim. I was like some lonely support player. Ejim on the Blitzcrank. I thought I was doing so well laning phase. He lands one hook late game. They win the game. And I'm like, that champion's kind of broken. This guy was like inting and now he just wins. Cool. That's just how it is.
True. Yeah, all right. I like it. I've always been a fan of Blitzcrank, but I've never been good at Blitzcrank. I only take him in like ARAMs, and I'll only take him to play full AP and get flamed by my team for paying full AP Blitzcrank and just running at them and just...
I knew a friend back at high school that literally played League on a laptop, had no mouse for whatever reason, literally played Blitzcrank on a trackpad. Imagine that.
Crazy.
That guy's a psycho.
Imagine how strong the finger muscles would be for that, because your trackpads is all fingers. It's not hands.
Imagine you got sweaty hands. Oh, guys. Like, it's like when you can't unlock your phone because like the rain gets in it and you're just molding. Like, it just sucks, man.
How do you play in like summer? It's like, oh, my bad, guys. It's 35 degrees today. I can't throw my champ.
Well, we are going to go to a short break as we're getting ready for the series. We'll have a bit more of an update when we come back, but stay tuned as it is still Antic vs Kanga. The Hopping Mad team wants to get that win on the board, but do the dogs come barking back? We'll see.
thinking that I'm playing though. I wanna prove you dead wrong. Yeah, yeah. Baby, you give me something special. The type of thing that you won't let go. Oh, and when I'm with you, girl, I'm with you all night. Know what I give you, girl, I give you what you like. Yeah, don't gotta ask me, you know it's on.
Here's the reason that Kevy's after becomes the Varus. Forced out of the stopwatch. It's Carnage triple happening here is for Phyto.
And welcome back one more time. It is I, Pike. That's Skimmy. That's Tally. And Skimmy, we have a bit of an update about what's going on.
We do indeed. Yes, unfortunately, it looked like at the timing of that pause that Gavin had been locked underneath that tower by a Blitzcrank hook. Then we saw the disconnect screen. You're thinking, how do you get that one resolved? It's looking like a chrono break is in process. Takes a bit of time, so hence why this delay is a little bit longer than expected.
Look, and these things happen, right? Happens in all regions. It's possible. Look, we just got to roll with it. We're having fun with it. We've been enjoying our time on the desk, just having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
What are you guys saying?
We're just talking Korean during the break. You're saying, like, what's happening? Did I understand that? We only know a few words. We think we're proficient. It's fantastic. We're losing our mind.
I thought I was having a stroke because they just started saying this language I didn't understand. I was like, what's going on? You know, and then they're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about a Pike. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine too. I'm
not part of the
caucus
club.
Yeah.
Ichima is a classic, man. You gotta listen on YouTube. Come on.
That's it, mate.
Send me the link. That's all I'm asking. We can't watch it now.
A little bit of Yajima, like a little bit of everything there, mate.
Only thing I know is from watching Faker, and it's just all the like recaps of him going, whoa! And it's him going, oh, what's that? That's all I know. All I know.
You're fluent.
There you go, boom.
Sold. Now it's time to go interview all the people over there. LCK. Papa Pike.
You're ready.
Yeah, I'm primed. But no, we are going to be waiting a little bit. We do have some interesting stuff coming up very shortly. But I guess, is there anything that we want to talk about? I think we could just recap tonight. Honestly, let's like look back at the first series that we had tonight as well. It was quite a good one. It was our GZ versus Ion. Like, I think, is there anything from note of those games? Obviously, it was like the Ion trying to make their way into that top 4 and really solidify that place up against the #1 seed. Is there anything you'd like to see different coming out of Ion, Skimmy?
Look, I mean, it's rough, right? We've had a delay in this one. We've had a delay in that game 2 for that series as well. Look, I think they showed a lot of promise in that first showing. Ultimately, yeah, just too much of a difference to try and bridge that gap. I thought, coming into this one, you look at some of the stats, you thought, hey, there's only 4 teams in the league that have 200 kills. It's all the big, it's the big 3 teams, but I up there as well. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, like that's quite impressive when you look and generally speaking, see teams and they've got like far more deaths than they have kills, sometimes double the amount. You're thinking, it makes sense why you're in that sort of position. But yeah, we've had high hopes for Ion. Much like we've had for Direwolves. So whilst we said Direwolves were very much like the Cat 3 show for such a long time, they've definitely evolved into like the Chungy show as well. I thought for that game, it was like, is it the Jovi show? I think Koei showed up to the table as well. So it's great to see that a lot of these teams aren't all about like, don't camp me, otherwise our team doesn't function.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play these series as well moving forward as well. I think they've got a bit of a hard lineup too, the old Ion. So we'll see what's going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, we know it's ready. You know you love it. We love it. It's the Champion Conundrum Take 2. Ha ha!
Is today the day looks with you? Is it now your life could renew? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
Pike.
It's charades! Sorry, I was being a mime, actually.
All I'm saying, okay, I'm sure you can join me in agreeing this. If Tally does this, we just walk off camera, okay? If he does this, we just walk away. We just let him have his little moment on camera on his own. Who cares?
Improve
we're not gonna do
your
it.
charade skills, guys. It was pretty obvious.
Your charade skills were shocking, but we got the first one. Okay, I'm ready to go. You can see my new trackies as well.
He's got the Uggs on, clean.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. Okay, how am I? Okay. Well.
Okay.
That's like.
Is that Garen? No.
He hooked and then he like spun. What was that?
Rek'Sai?
Hold on. I can't do it with this cable here. Hold on. He's just getting tangled up.
You spin. But you've hooked and you've gone towards them. So like, but Fresh doesn't spin. Nautilus doesn't spin.
It's not Pike.
Blitzcrank doesn't spin.
Oh, like what else do you do as this champion? That's all you do.
Can we get a hint?
No.
It's a mid laner.
Okay.
And mid laner that hooks and spins.
Is this like Aksha?
Oh, Trindamere!
No.
No?
I don't have, like...
Trindamere,
Well,
you now broken.
What?
Hooking? Who else hooks, man? Surf's up, dude. Let's go.
The best I can do, man.
Is this
probably a bit
Zoe?
wider.
Is it like a? Is that an ult?
That's an ult.
That's an ult. You're.
You, s-
He is ulting
I think
right
that's all. That's all I can do.
you spin around when you ult. Why is it so hard?
All right. You want another hint?
Are we
Yeah,
done?
just it's
Wait,
Katarina.
no way, man! There's no way!
Like, what do you do for that? Like throwing the dagger. You throw the dagger, you dash to it, and you spin.
Because he did like 5 abilities in one. That's why it was so confusing.
Yeah,
Oh, my
dude.
bad.
And like, I
Well,
was
how am I meant to separate them? You know what? Just go to the game. Go on, get out of here. My conundrum's done. Oh, well, no, it's not actually.
Whoa!
We have another conundrum. I baited you a little bit there. I'm puffed after that.
Mate.
That's hard to do.
It's skimmy time.
Oh,
Yeah, it is
okay.
skip time. Okay.
I think I need
If
you
it's
on-
as hard as Katarina, I swear.
Okay, so it's one as well.
Yep. Yep. Bard. No.
Was that Zach?
Star jump.
No. Oh. This is tough. This is tough. Oh, have I been saved with the bell? I've been
we're
saved
done.
by
We're
the
here
bell.
again.
You'll never know. That was cringe, and we're never doing it again. Welcome back to the game.
What was
I'm
it?
so happy to be here.
What was it?
I'll
What was
tell
it?
you, it was meant to be Lulu. All I could think of was wild growth. Jump in the air and maybe hope that you'd figure it out.
You just T-posed on us.
Basically, I just hit a fiddlesticks.
Oh, so we do see the corner break come through. You know, Gavin back to safety outside the tower of Antic. You know, Koso does hit the level 3, so he's going to be able to start trading in the mid lane, but these trades will be always favorable for Sovereign, as he's going to be a bit, you know, to have a bit better base stats in early game. And Koso really wants these extended trades to happen, but that is when Reef Fury can start impacting the mid lane if Koso does get too low.
Let's dial it back a few moments, because I'm sure for a lot of these viewers, maybe they've only just tuned in, a lot of people saying, where's game 2? Has it started? Has it finished? What's going to go on? We actually had to hold that entire point here, because the Cursio's under threat. The Katarina that Pike so beautifully demonstrated for us has unfortunately fallen on down.
Yeah, and there it is. There's the easy pickup. As I said, you know, there's going to be a lot of volatility in this mid lane. Cursor needs to be aggressive if he wants to be able to create any Windows room to be able to get the CS in mid lane, but does fall down, does blow the flash and the TP, so it's going to be very hard for him to be able to snowball from this point.
Let's see. Now it almost feels like I'm the analyst because I'm trying to get a word in here, but it's almost like I want you to try and describe once again to the viewers what these sort of win conditions we're looking for are, because you mentioned it already just then that the Lissandra matchup is really nice into this Katarina. Hold it once more. I might just actually pass the mic to myself again
my job.
as we go into the fight, as Woodon is under threat and Foreigner with the Viego is back to winning ways.
Yeah, easy as that. I would say the win conditions, you know, we kind of mentioned it on the cast a little bit, is, you know, Kanga wants this very stable game to happen. They want to reach the mid game with not much volatility happen, because I just think they have an outright stronger comp when it comes to these team fights. I don't think the Katarina will be able to do an insane amount if this is a stable game. But, you know, look across the map, Antic needs to use their, you know, winning lanes to help Incursio play the game. They need to be able to use this, you know, if they guarantee priority in the bot lane, that Draco can go walk to mid and impact, or they want to fight. What these skirmishes around these early objectives happen, like the Grubs, like the first dragon, needs to make sure that these fights are happening, so this 1v1, which looks so one-sided, isn't extended.
Yeah, it does not look pretty, does it? You can see that Woodon, despite falling down to that gank, is still able to make sure that Zonis is pushed back for the meantime. So I suppose that you know, it really does fall upon the likes of both Raze and Draco to try and be aggressive, to try and find a kill, and to try and unleash themselves from that lane to assist elsewhere. Speak of the man himself, currently under a bit of attack, but the handshake goes out and everyone's okay.
And this is the mid lane experience coming out of Reef Fury. He knows that Incursio, if he wants to trade, has to go forward and puts himself in a position to get rooted, and that lane game can really happen. And, you know, the hook lands onto Gavin in the bot lane, and this will be him surviving Skimmy, so he does get out of there alive. It's really nice by, you know, Raze and Draku to use their priority to get a reset for Razor. You see in the inventory, he has the pickaxe and the boots advantage onto Vendrick. Vendrick hasn't found the base yet, and with this wave being frozen, they have all the control they want of this bot lane.
That is crazy, just how close he was from falling on down. Either way, though, they might look to continue to march ahead and say, you don't know where we are, you know that Refury's here, but do you expect Sovereign? Surely the pings of Incursive say they are missing care. Bot, out goes that glacial prison, and like a prison, you're locked in place. You can't do much about it, but Draco also, these supports, man, they're living the best life.
Yeah, we're going to see the dive on the top lane. It should be a pretty easy one with the ult coming out of cannon, but Woodon doing a very good job to buy a lot of time, and it's going to be the easy outplay for him, Skimmy.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Did not expect to see that one this time around. And that must feel good for Woodon, despite falling down so many times. That he at least answers back. Raze tries to go crazy with it. We talk about tower dives, and another one takes place right there. Incursive hunting for it. There is that revive. It's not to be found. No reset, no chance. But Incursive puts in his best Pike cosplay, spins around with those daggers, and absolutely crushes.
Yeah, well, this is just a multi-step, play for Incursive. Firstly, Sovereign rotates bot, blows the ulti to try and kill Dracu, but doesn't, guarantee the kill for himself. So Incursive uses that bit of pride that he has from his mid laner roaming, rotates down to the bot side. Kanga, making that back-to-back play. I always talk about how that, puts yourself in a position to be countered. Incursive, very known for his roam timings, finds the easy cleanup, and he's finally in the game.
And he certainly does. Let's run it back on this replay, how it starts in the spot lane, because the Antic side is so low.
Yeah, this looks very favorable for Kanga. You look at the map, you already see Draco going down. Gavin's going to come in and they can play for this dive, but it's just the timing that, Sovereign isn't here while Incursive is, and Raze does such a good job buying so much time, using the flash and dash to create so much space, and there's just no answer coming out of the Kanga lineup.
Certainly isn't to be. There's no CC to stop this champion from really going to town and doing pretty much as it pleases. As to feel good then, as you return back to that lane, both these mid laners having 2 kills to the name as well. And both with a Dark Seal on their finger, hoping that they are the chosen one.
Yeah, and we get to see the AP build coming out in Cursor. I think this is definitely correct. I think if he does go for the AD build, it's more reliant on having more uptime and less CC, because you need to be auto-attacking, you need to be able to commit to your ult, whereas with the Katarina, or AP Katarina, these daggers can do a huge amount of damage. If someone missteps and lands on one of these daggers, we get to see how strong these Katarinas can be in solo queue, and is it going to be something he can translate to the competitive scene?
So satisfying though, isn't it, when you have that one-shot AP burst as opposed to sort of the more bruiser build that you've seen in the past from the Katarina. Such a frustrating champion, I'm sure, to try and balance, right? When you can have all these variations, like, isn't that meant to be an AP assassin? And they're just out here building like a tank with Divine Sunder and all the rest. many, many patches ago, but that's neither here nor there at this stage. They will still be the major focus of this one, but it's not to put it past the likes of Frono, who wants to make sure that even he in his 1v1 doesn't fall victim to this Kha'Zix.
Yeah, I think Foreigner, always someone who's going to have a very good performance on the Diego, but Incursive going forward, going to go fall down to this gank, which is pretty easy for the team here, killing the flash, but, Refury just always hovering around mid because there's so much kill threat with this Lissandra, and Incursive has to be always going forward and being able to trade.
Yeah, really, really patient was it by Refury there, just waiting and saying that Sovereign, look, I know the fights are about to break out. All you need to do is hit your ultimate, and then we have the uptime and all that isolated DPS. That's their 5th kill of the game then. It's a happy place for Kanga to be, as they might look to try and transition this into an objective. No, they actually feign it and say, Vendrick, we're going to leave you to the wolves. Foreigner rocks up to the party. He's got no support. And this game really is all about those resets.
Yeah, it's Vendrick falling down, and this might be the Dragon started for Foreigner. We do have Refury hanging around. He doesn't have the flash, though, so if there is a bot lane hopper here, he has to always worry about Dracu hook landing, because that will spell certain death for him.
So finally on towards that Dragon at the 10-minute mark. A chance then for them to see what they can get accomplished with this one. First item purchased, rushed there by Sovereign, off towards that Malignant. It's going to really help with that extra ultimate ability haste. Make sure that he can beat that menace. Nice little smite denial away as it gets picked up there. And yeah, now it does make this game a little bit extra spicy because 10 minutes in, the gold is dead even.
Yeah, we're on, getting chunked out there, but we'll have access to the TP in just a couple seconds, so he's not going to miss out on any more in the top lane, but just a really good laning phase from Zorinus to be able to create such a big CS lead. Actually going to walk back to lane instead of, waiting for the TP. It's still not going to be, it's going to be up right now, so it is probably the correct choice to walk back to lane based on how far he's got away from the fountain already. Unfortunately, he's going to miss out on some experience, but this is the case of blind picking champs like the Aatrox. You are so susceptible to those range counter picks.
Speaking of being susceptible, right, a squishy Enchanter-esque support always going to be victim to that of a Blitzcrank. The hook landed, didn't even require the Ignite to get the killing blow. Got the job done, just in tandem as a 2-man squad. Once again, on point with these hooks. This time the Ignite will connect the Flash, the Chain of Corruptions, and the barrier just for good measure. That will be the difference maker here. Otherwise, he would have been an easy double.
Yeah, and Draco's very on point with these hooks. I talked about how hard it is to play into the Blitzcrank when you play double range bot laners, but you know, these hooks keep landing and we're going to see more kills going over to the bot lane and we might see a dive happening in mid. Do they have the damage?
How does Incursor look to try and navigate this one? He has no flash, but Sovereign certainly does. He flashes forward, hits the ultimate and says, what do you do to outplay that? You need a QSS and you need it stat. But Draco is on the roam. He's going to go for the hook and threads it right down the middle. And I don't think he would have the damage anyway because Foreigner was still a while away.
Yeah, we get to see the power of this mid jungle. I think they're playing really well together. Using all their windows. Refury going back for the dive. Doesn't have the flash, so I think he's Antic right now, Skippy.
No way. There's no way. You can see even Draco's cam's like, why did he do that? You literally utilized caster curse, Tally. Well done. You're a fully fledged caster now.
I just enabled him to just run it in there. My bad, guys. Happens to the best of us, but you know, he thought he had enough damage. Unfortunately, Draco's a bit fed back from how well he is doing in the bot lane right now alongside his partner Raze, and we might just see another dive happening onto Wooden here, and I think this one's going to be much harder to outplay.
Yeah, very difficult to try and outplay this one. You've run away, but there's the Heartbreaker. The execution at this point is just so much. Makes it very easily then for Zoranus to stabilize, and that might try to create a little bit of daylight here between these two teams to showcase that, yeah, we are the better squad. And we don't want to leave this one to chance. Well, the mid-jungle still of Kanga. They're still going to be quite terrifying. Doesn't matter who they look towards. That isolated damage on towards Foreigner. A flash is just in the nick of time. Refury for the second time says that tower, I do not care. Simply walks past it, but he then walks himself into another enemy as a new challenger joins the fight.
I have to give a bit of respect to Zoranus right now. He can create space for Foreigner to get out. Does have the Slicing Maelstrom, which will spell certain death for Refury if he does walk too close to him. But, you know, once again, we're seeing priority happen in the bot lane. You have to respect the Blitzcrank. You cannot, you know, contest the wave when he has access to the flash. A lot of one-shot potential coming out of this champ. Something underrated about Blitzcrank is his, you know, base damage is so extremely high. And Incursor, once again, getting camped. You know, this is just the classic Katarina. Everyone puts so much attention into your lane. Doesn't try to go for the outplay, is just doing his best to stabilize as much as possible. And another hook lands, Gimme.
Another hook lands, and that's all she wrote, really. The handshake, a distant afterfall. It's not going to do much more than that. The bailout, not really good enough given how topped up and healthy Antic were. But I suppose the one talking point about this is that Incursio is soaking up so much pressure that surely for the likes of Zoranus and the bot lane of Reiku, they must feel so happy knowing that we're never probably going to get ganked.
Yeah, I think this is you know, we would expect to see the bot lane rotate to the mid and alleviate some of that pressure from Incursio, but they're committing to their lane, they're blowing up their 2v2, they're getting 4 plates already, and this is a different play you can do, you know, instead of committing your resources to, you know, other lanes, you can snowball your own lane because you are a win condition, you can absolutely take over this game, and Raze has all the resources, all the gold he needs right now to just be this 1v9 machine.
And I think it makes a lot of sense in this context, right, because you've already got the static Shiv, you've just picked up all 6 Void Grubs, so why would you rotate when you can just guarantee that first tower and punish them tenfold? Now you can rotate into the mid lane, look to try and alleviate that, and continue to march on forward. So certainly in a very happy space, and it's only going to continue to grow their gold lead further.
Yeah, and, you know, saving grace for Incursio right now, he's allowed to go to the side lane. He can finally find these 1v1s, he can pick up these squishy members, but we do see the objective being silenced up by Kanga. They do have priority in the mid lane. They do have 5 members topside, and Incursio doesn't want to go bot because he wants to participate in these fights. He wants to be able to snowball. And Foreigner might be a bit overextended here.
Look, Foreigner, you've got to chill for a second here, mate. You've got no flash. Yes, you have the ultimate, but he wants everything. And for good reason, too. Draco hits another hook, and it's instant decimation for Refury. Lights out. No questions asked. Double as easy as you like it. And the perfect player with the perfect scoreline.
Yeah, and just another hook from Draco lands on a crucial member and another kill onto Raze. This is just pretty much perfect gameplay out of the Antic bot lane. Rotate second to the objective because they didn't have priority on the mid lane. You know, wait for your team to collapse, engage when you have your window, and it's just really good execution from the side.
Really nicely done, and maybe Foreigner knew just a little bit more than us. We're thinking that's an absolute crazy play to make. He secures it, gets the Herald as well. And now Zoranus is looking for a flank, but Kanga are well aware of this one. Just a second ward for good measure. We know where you are. The Slicing Maelstrom coming out to be used as a disengage to Refury cops the tail end of that Shuriken and wants no part in this anymore.
Yeah, and this is one of the problems with cards into cannon. You do not want to jump into the cannon. You will die to the AoE coming out of the, you know, the little yordle. But, you know, something else to add on with cannon, you know, back in the day, a lot of the resistances was on the Lightning Rush. You used to remember you would press E, you would gain all the resistances that make you tanky. That is now on the ulti, so Kennen is quite a tanky champion when that ult is popped, and that's why it's so hard to blow up Kennen during this ulti now. See Antic really take over that. I would like to see Kanga use his TP on Sovereign to really kill Raze. You know, use his TP flank, punish the fact he has no cleanse, and that's probably their way to attack the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fully on board with that as well because he's just hit the 2-item point at 16 minutes in. The person to take on down. Warmogs for the Blitzcrank as well. They are a very formidable duo, but I'm quite impressed there in Curcio, knowing that he was probably going to be a juicy target for the ult out of that. Lissandra once more does get the shampoo to safety across the wall, gets stunned in place, but says, you've missed your chance, mate. Try again next time.
This is the wave clear extraordinaire build. You know, the combo of the Stag Shiv and the Hurricane means you farm so fast. You blow up these camps in waves so fast. You're always on the map. Your tempo is very good, and you get to farm even faster to get towards that Infinity Edge, which is your crucial power spike on most of these AD carries.
And we already saw it today from Lemus right into the matchup against Styx. So much passive cleave that will zone members away, and I'm sure Vendrick will fall into a similar case, right? Because these piercing arrows, while still strong, he's gone for the more hybrid build, right? Wanting the Renata, still itemizing towards that lethality, but seemingly wanting more on-hit use.
Yeah, we see another hook land. This might just be lights out again. TP flank is coming in this time. This is a double TP skimmy.
Ona is squishy though. He has become the Renata, and Curcio TP's in as well, just for good measure, and instantly shampoos to safety. Actually a flash. I correct myself there. Heartbreak to gain distance.
Hook is
as
up.
Ona gets rid of that Renata form. Fantastic stun! Locks in plays 2. They'll find 1. The Katarina survives for the meantime. And the hook is unable to even out those odds.
Yeah, hook lands on the cannon medium, but this is the team fight I'm talking about, Skimmy. It is so easy for, you know, Sovereign to click R in any member of the enemy team, and they pretty much blow up, minus Dracu, who's a bit tanky. I don't know if Refury wants to be ganking Zoranus right now. This is a very strong cannon. They could be in lights out for him if he does jump onto Zoranus, especially with that Slicing Maelstrom being available.
Yeah, he just looks at him, gets mute on, says, you know what, fair enough, walks away, and says, you've got a 2-level lead. I am no longer interested. Back to the mid lane we go then, because that's what we're all about. 2 towers to nothing so far in Antic's favor, and very close to getting a third, with all outer tier 1s taken as a result, and just makes it easier and easier for the likes of a Kennen to flank, a Katarina to hide, and a Blitzcrank to throw out rogue hooks.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for this one pop-up team fight to come out in Curcio. I think that this game is highlighting the rest of the team for Antic, especially. You know, I think they're doing so well where they do not have the pressure coming out of the mid lane of Curcio, but this is what we want from the team. You want to see him play these kind of champs that don't necessarily have this lane pressure, but something that he can excel on in the micro aspect in these skirmishes.
Again, Dracu seizing the opportunity to say, that ultimate, you're going to have to self-cast it this time, mate. You've had too much fun going for the kill. That must feel good for Incursor to answer back finally and take him down. They'll summon the Herald for good measure too, and they'll punish because, as we already mentioned, this Herald, in tandem with the 6 grubs, they have so much sieging potential. Very lucky not to get hooked back to his Refury. Not going to stop them from attempting to go further as they're playing towards, well, 2 lanes. It was 3 just before.
Yeah, just taking down all these inner turrets. There's 3 inner turrets down at 19 minutes, Skimmy. The gold lead is just absolutely ballooning. Foreigner is getting ulted, but he's going to be able to walk this one off. There's no follow-up coming out of the Kanga side. He doesn't worry too much. And they're going to base with all this money they have accumulated, maybe after they pick up a little cheeky Wudon kill on the exit, and just be very happy with his game state.
Yeah, the Infernal Chains are broken. The Slicing Maelstrom comes out, and Wudon is a living statue at this point, stunned in what feels like forever. Great flash away, but still the damage connects. And Foreigner finds that soul that he was hunting for all day long. Kanga is a little bit late to the party, and all they find is a grave.
Yeah, just a very easy pickup for Wudon. Probably feels a bit safer than he should because of, you know, Antic have been on the map so long, and you think, oh, they need to reset, they can't really do this. But maybe Incursio is the one to overextend now, doesn't have access to the flash, and it should be an easy pickup for Refury if he keeps landing these isolated Qs.
He'll do it. He's going to cycle through those autos. Oh, nearly got spaced out underneath the tower. I was really hoping he wouldn't try and hit the tower instead of the champion. And Curcio does fall down finally. And, well, really both mid laners have been the focus for everybody to take down.
Yeah, and we see 2 items completed for Zarnus, 2 items completed for Sovereign, 2 items completed for Raze. So these are the main members in the game who are extremely strong. You know, Foreigner is quite strong himself, but it's not necessarily easy for him to pop up in these team fights by himself. He needs his team to enable him. He needs to find those resets thanks to the, you know, engage coming out of Zarnus or Dracu. Still has access to the teleport, so if they do walk in, or if Kanga do walk in and contest an objective or contest vision, there's always that teleport flank they need to worry about because this cannon is a bit of a monster right now.
Yeah, it certainly is. Those deep TP flanks have always been a hallmark of a good Kennen player, right? The ability to try and find those moments to just go full 1v9 mode. And we talk about the sort of water sprinkler bit of the Raze, always having the tempo, always having the ability to take down waves in a mere matter of seconds. We've now got the Infinity Edge, so this damage is just going to go absolutely through the roof, and for good reason too. He says, you know what? Flash in their face. There is that slicing Maelstrom, and there is the triple kill to continue the perfect scoreline.
And that's our play of the day, Skivvy. Without a doubt, that is an absolute destructive ult coming out of Zoranus, slicing Maelstrom across all 4 members who were present in mid lane from Kanga. It is being deleted, paired it up with the Lightning partner in Raze, and everyone is dead.
It's beautiful. It really is a case of the perfect storm where everything comes together. We've had a day of disruption, but a game played that really speaks for itself here as we run it back one more time.
Yeah, and just a really nice hook to start off straight away, but Zoranus finds his angle, lands the slicing Maelstrom across so many members, and Raze, the amount of damage he's outputting with these autos is just shredding the members on Kanga, and there's just not an answer coming out in the DPS department.
It's just too much to deal with, and you even see that Sovereign had his ultimate the entire time, but just unable to execute, unable to self-cast, or at least even turn it around to try and take somebody down with him. They weren't able to go down quietly. They were simply removed from the equation, and Draco really is trying to farm for that MVP, isn't he? All over the map, an absolute nuisance.
It's pretty hard not to give it to him so far based on the performance in this game. He is, you know, the tool that has really brought Antic's lead to fruition right now. He's landing so many hooks in his individual lane, constantly in his team fights, finding crucial members with this, you know, rocket grab and doing such a good job on a champ that you said he might not be too comfortable on.
Yeah, must feel good. Absolutely must feel good to try and answer back and say, look, I can play the champion again. I am comfortable once again. And this may be a pick we get to look forward to seeing one more time in the playoffs. But here we go, Tally. They've got the Baron buff for a full 2 minutes. And they'll look to try and siege, but Incursey says, watch this, guys. Oh, just get called out. He's alive, Tally. He's alive. How is he still alive? How has he done it? He's a cat with 9 lives. He refuses to fall on down. And that's heartbreak for Kanga because it's a 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, Incursey is just getting completely bullied this game. Even though Kanga are losing, they're going to make sure Incursey does not have a good time on this Katarina. He's trying his best to have any impact in this game, but there's just so much tools to deal with him in this game. And with that, you know, that major, you know, engage tool in the Chains of Corruption being there onto Race, he feels very comfortable to walk up and hit these turrets.
Yeah, struggling so much to try and attend to these waves. They're actually just trimming 2 at the same time. There is an instantly hook in Woodom. He's down for 40 seconds, Re-Fury flanking, but nobody's isolated. So how do you try and take them down? It's just too hard. It really is as simple as that for Antic to bully you out of your own base. Take that one Nexus power and flash on forward and say, night, night, sweet dreams to Varus. And this game is looking like it's going to rest very early on here. 23 minutes in, the pool's almost feeling longer than the game itself, as the slicing Maelstrom will remove Gabin from the equation. A self-cast of the Lissandra ultimate, Porcelain OP, get 6 of that as a trait, and you will win your TFT games, but you won't win on Summoner's Rift, as Antic get all 3 points.
Yeah, and this is what we wanted to see. We want to see 2 very clean performances out of Antic. That must feel very nice as a confidence boost to go back after yesterday's performance and be like, all right, guys, we played well. But, you know, as you can see on camera, Incursey are very frustrated with the fact he was not able to play his champ this game. He got camped. No one helped him. Very unfortunately, he was unable to pop on the category because I know we were all waiting for it. We were all so excited he finally got to play it. But, fortunately, jungle diff.
Was jungle diff. Yeah, it really was the case of Kha'Zix was the bug, and there was no bug spray to be found. You can almost see like a war general. He is just screaming and shouting in comms to his team. That game was miserable. Yes, I fixed my win rate on the champion, but at what cost? My sanity has been boomed for the rest of the night. Perfect 2-0 though for Antic. They'll take all 3 points, keep themselves in the mix of that top 3 discussion. As for Kanga, still hunting for a win. That does it for us tonight. We'll jump to a quick break and then wrap it all up right after this.